The universe has something important to tell you today. It is not a warning, nor a ready answer, but a silent call that touches the depths of your soul. There is a greater force trying to reach you, and it chose this moment to speak. Take a deep breath. Everything that will be said below comes from a place that knows not only what you feel, but also what the other person has not yet been able to say. Are you ready to listen? There is an awkward silence coming from the person occupying your thoughts. A silence that is not empty, but full of emotions that she has not yet managed to organize within herself. On the outside, everything may seem calm, but on the inside, this person is struggling with feelings that they themselves do not fully understand. Yet, they justify their distance by telling themselves that you could not bear to hear the truth, as if it were you who were not ready, when in fact it is they who cannot allow themselves to open up completely. This idea that you can't handle it is a disguised form of protection. She's not lying about how she feels, but she's not being honest either. The truth is that there is an emotional weight inside her that has not yet found space to express itself. And this weight has a name, you, or rather, the connection between you. A connection that affects her more than she would like to admit. Even from a distance, physical or emotional, this person feels your presence strongly. It's like something is pulling her towards you. There are times when you try to resist, to divert your attention, but your mind insists on coming back. And when it comes back, she starts creating stories, assumptions, ideas, all based on the absence of clear answers. This creates confusion, a kind of silent anxiety, as if she were looking for signs in everything you do or don't do. If you are an intuitive person, you may have felt this. Maybe you realize that there is something unsaid between you. And what is not said sometimes weighs more than what is said. It's as if she wants you to guess, to realize what's going on inside her without her having to say it. But at the same time she fears what would happen if you actually knew. Fear of exposing yourself, fear of losing control. She is experiencing an internal conflict. Part of her wants to get closer, say what she feels, confess what she thinks. The other part backs off, tries to maintain control of the situation, pretend everything is fine. And in the meantime, the connection between you remains alive, pulsing on the invisible plane. The universe watches all of this, and that is why you are now hearing this message. She feels that something in you has changed. And that is where one of the most delicate points of this story lies. What was previously predictable, your way of being present, your constant attention, your emotional delivery, now looks different. You are more centered, more self-assured. You are taking more care of your own life, turning your focus inward. And that is disconcerting to her. She feels like she's lost something, even if you haven't said it in words. It's a subtle but powerful feeling of no longer being the center of your attention. This awakens something in her that perhaps she did not expect to feel so strongly, a certain discomfort, a restlessness, a desire to understand what is happening to you and, deep down, a desire to be part of it again. Even if she doesn't show it, even if she continues to maintain a distant posture, her heart is restless, confused and completely connected to your energy. She still doesn't know how to act, she's still trying to understand if what she feels is longing, fear of losing you, or something deeper, like a belated realization that you have a place in her life that no other person has occupied. The universe is showing this to you now, because the time has come to see beyond appearances. What this person is experiencing internally may not be clear to the eyes, but it is being felt intensely. And this feeling, as silent as it may seem, is growing. What was once familiar to her, the way you looked at her, the frequency with which you showed care, the predictability of your presence, began to change, but not in an aggressive or sudden way. It was something subtle, almost imperceptible at first. A change that arises when a person starts looking at themselves again, when they start choosing themselves. And you did it. You started to treat yourself with more love, you started to protect your own energy, you started to respect yourself. You began to make it clear, with your actions, that you were no longer willing to lose yourself, trying to keep someone close. This does not mean that you have stopped loving, on the contrary, but now you love in a more conscious, lighter, more complete way. She feels this and feels like she has lost a privilege that she may not have even known she had. The privilege of your constant dedication, your patience, your emotional availability. The universe shows that the new glow emanating from you both attracts and challenges this person. It's as if she's realized too late that your energy is no longer as accessible as it once was. Your new attitude confuses her because, for a long time, she was certain, even unconsciously, that you would always be there. Now, not knowing how to react to your growth, she feels a discomfort she's never experienced before, a mixture of loss and admiration, of confusion and desire, of fear and the longing to get closer. She wonders if this new glow is just a phase or if you've truly changed for good. More than that, she questions if there's still room for her in this new version of you. The universe reveals that this person is feeling something rare in their life, jealousy. This isn't a possessive or destructive jealousy, but a feeling that highlights how much she valued the attention she received and, even more, how much she considered you her safe place, even if she never said it aloud. The way you are becoming more grounded and centered is disrupting this person's internal structures. She feels like she is losing connection, but at the same time, this apparent loss is paving the way for a profound transformation. She feels an urge to act, to reconnect, but she also carries the fear that she is no longer welcome, that perhaps you are now on another emotional level that she doesn't know how to reach. This fear paralyzes her, but the desire remains. It's as if she's asking herself, am I still important to this person? Can I still be a part of their life? She doesn't find this answer on her own because it doesn't just depend on you saying it, but on her allowing herself to feel, face her own blocks, and leave the emotional comfort zone she has maintained for so long. She knows she needs to change too, but change takes courage. And now she is faced with this challenge. Perhaps that's why, even without speaking, she's sending signals, small gestures, memories, subtle behaviors, all trying to test in some way if there is still room for her in your life, even if unconsciously she is trying to know if she still has access to your heart. And you, when you feel this movement, may ask yourself, why now? The answer is simple, because your inner growth showed her what was invisible. When you started to truly love yourself, she started to feel the absence of the love she received from you and that perhaps she never valued as she should have. This absence is not a punishment, but a mirror, a clear reflection of what needs to be seen, felt, and healed within her. The universe is bringing all of this to the surface now because this is a turning point, a rare opportunity for transformation for both sides. What comes after that depends on how that person chooses to react to the awakening within them. There's a curious thing that starts to happen when someone who has always been in emotional control of a connection loses that position. Not because you did something wrong, but because you simply stopped abandoning yourself, and in this movement, you began to occupy a more integral space within yourself. This is what the universe wants you to understand. Your growth didn't push that person away, it simply revealed a truth that already existed and now needs to be faced. She finds herself facing a new version of herself, and this version is a silent invitation for her to grow too. But this invitation can be uncomfortable. After all, for a long time now, she has become accustomed to being the person who receives your attention, your care, your energy. And now, for the first time, she needs to move from being a receiver to becoming someone who takes action. The most impressive thing is that she wants to act. The universe shows that, even without knowing how to do it, this person feels an almost instinctive need to move in your direction. It's as if she feels that if she continues to stand still, she might lose something that has always been essential. She may not yet be able to name it as love. She may still have difficulty recognizing her own feelings, but the force that moves her is real. This movement begins subtly. She starts to remember little details about you, the way you talk, the things you used to say, the way you laughed, the way you looked. And each memory brings a strange longing. Not a longing for the past, but a desire to get closer to what you have become now, to get to know yourself again. At the same time, she wonders if you still feel something, if this new silence of yours means that everything is over or if it is just a pause to reconnect with yourself. And this puts her in a delicate place, a place where pride and desire clash, where the fear of exposing herself competes with the desire not to lose what can still be saved. At this point, the universe begins to act with more intensity. Synchronicities increase, thoughts about you appear out of nowhere at random times, a song, a phrase, a dream. Little memories seem to pop up just to remind her that there is still a connection. With each new memory, with each new sign, she feels that there is something stronger than what the eyes can see. Even though she tries to ignore it, even though she wants to rationalize it, she cannot escape this feeling. The connection between you grows stronger not when everything is going well, but precisely when one begins to transform and the other, still without understanding, begins to move to keep up. It is an invisible but deeply real process. And that's what's happening now. She feels something is about to change, that perhaps for the first time she will be the one who has to take the initiative. That idea scares her because it has always been more comfortable when you were the one driving. Now, with you quieter, more centered, she needs to decide whether she will open up or continue missing out on the chance to experience something real. This movement is not just emotional, it is spiritual. It is the universe rearranging the pieces, creating space for a true reconnection to happen, not based on lack or fear, but on conscious choice. She may not say anything for now, she may still be resisting the idea of showing herself vulnerable, but something inside her is changing. She is being touched by this new you, by this more mature, more serene, more firm energy. What comes next depends on her courage. You don't need to run after or prove anything. Your role now is to continue firmly on your path, allowing this movement of hers to happen at the right time, without expectations, but with openness, with the awareness that the universe only brings back what is ready to be experienced in a new way. It is curious how, even when far away, this person seems more present than ever. Not with direct words or gestures, but with a silent force that seems to accompany you wherever you go. She is in your thoughts, not like before, but in a new way, as if something in you knows that behind her silence there is an entire universe of feelings being contained. You feel it. You feel that her absence actually carries an intense presence, as if the simple fact that she is not by your side makes her even more noticeable, as if her absence has become a constant reminder that there is still something alive between you. The universe does this when two souls are deeply connected, transforms distance into a bridge, silence into a message, absence into presence. What she feels now is a type of emotional turmoil she has never had to face before. She is, for the first time, out of her comfort zone, not because of something you did, but because of who you have become. Perhaps this is the greatest proof of love. You rebuilt yourself not to impress, but because you finally understood that you could no longer diminish yourself to maintain any bond. This inner transformation of yours is what is shaking everything inside her. She is restless, insecure, confused, but also fascinated, because she sees even from a distance that you are blossoming. As much as a part of her feels jealous for no longer being the center of attention, for realizing that other people also notice your brilliance, another part is filled with admiration. She never said that. Maybe she won't say it anytime soon, but she is proud of you. Even though this pride comes with a certain fear of not measuring up, she wonders if you would still think of her the same way after all this. If there is still space in your heart for what you experienced, or if that space was renovated, painted, redecorated, and now it no longer holds her. This doubt eats away at her, but it also moves her, because the fear of losing you is stronger today than the vanity that made her keep quiet. That's why she starts to imagine meeting you again, not in words, but in mental scenes that pass through her head at the most random moments. A reunion in the middle of the street, an unexpected conversation, a light touch. She doesn't talk about it with anyone, but these scenes repeat themselves in her mind as if they were silent rehearsals for something that perhaps she finally wants to experience. She still feels like you belong to her, not in a sense of possession, but of bond, of destiny, as if the universe had placed the two of you in each other's lives for a greater reason. Even without knowing how to act in this new phase, she feels that she cannot simply move forward as if nothing had happened. She knows something needs to change, and for once that something doesn't concern you, it concerns her. The way she always avoided opening up, as if protecting herself was safer than truly loving. Now that armor is starting to weigh, to break, because the love she feels is growing more than the fear of showing it. You, on the other hand, may be at peace for the first time in a long time, not because you have forgotten, but because you have learned to accept yourself. The universe honors that. It is showing you that loving is also knowing how to wait, not for someone to return, but for the maturity of that connection, for the real possibility of a new beginning with different foundations. At this very moment, her heart is restless. The emotions she tried to deny are exploding inside. All she wants most, even if she can't verbalize it, is to find a way to show you that she still feels, that she still wants, that she still believes, even if she's scared, even if she doesn't know how. Now that everything is exposed internally, even if not said out loud, this person finds herself at a decisive moment. The universe led her here. Everything that was once doubt now pulses with intensity, longing, desire, confusion, and, above all, the desire to start over. But a new beginning can only happen when fear gives way to love. She feels it with every part of her being. Time has passed, but the connection between you has not disappeared. What was built, even without labels or promises, still has deep roots. But unlike before, now she knows she can no longer rely solely on the hope that you will come to her. Now she's the one who needs to move. Even though she doesn't say it, she realizes how much your absence activates old wounds, but she also understands that you weren't the one who created those wounds. They were there long before you. You were just the mirror, the reflection of everything she still needed to heal. That's why now, more than ever, she needs to choose between repeating old patterns or pushing through the discomfort to build something real. She thinks about you all the time, about who you were, who you have become, and what it would be like to be by your side today as the two different people you are now. She wants to open up, to send a message, to say that she misses you, but she still gets stuck, still afraid of what might happen if you don't respond the way she expects. This is where the universe comes in even more clearly. The answer she seeks so much is not in you, it is in her. It is about choosing to be true to yourself, to accept what you feel, regardless of the answer, to stop fighting against what is obvious, that the feeling that exists between you does not disappear just because time has passed. It evolves, transforms, matures. You, in turn, have reached a point of peace, and this peace is powerful because it shows that true love does not need to humble itself or beg. It only exists and expresses itself when it is reciprocated with sincerity. You no longer wait with your eyes closed. You observe, feel, and consciously choose what you want to keep close to you. This balance that you have achieved is precisely what inspires the other side to move. She knows she needs to do something different, that she can no longer maintain the facade of indifference, that the time has come to stop hiding, to stop pretending she doesn't feel. Even though her action hasn't come yet, momentum is building. The desire to show you that it still belongs to you, not as a possession, but as a choice. The universe is preparing a special moment, an instant in which everything can change, perhaps a reunion, maybe an unexpected conversation, maybe a confession kept for too long. You will feel it, you will know when it happens, because nothing you experienced was by chance. The intensity of this connection is the kind of thing that only happens once, and she knows it. That's why she's preparing to show that she's changed, that she understands, that now she also wants to build something with awareness, with maturity, with reciprocity, that she no longer wants to just observe you from afar, but to truly participate in your world, with presence, with dedication, with courage. When that moment comes, you will be ready to choose even more clearly, whether to move on or make room for a new chapter with her. A chapter that can finally be lived with everything you have always avoided feeling fully. The message of the universe is clear: this connection is not over, it is in transformation. Everything that is transforming has the potential to be reborn stronger. You don't need to run after anyone to be loved. When you choose to grow, evolve, and make yourself a priority, everything that truly belongs to you finds a way back. What is true remains, and mature love knows how to wait, but also knows how to recognize when it is time to act.